and welcome to the kitchen. I'll spice it up. Today's recipe is gonna be amazing and delicious. It's one of the most traditional plates you'll probably hear all over the world that's branded Italian, and it's ragù alla Bolognese. It originated in Emilia-Romagna, and what I need to specify is that every household probably has their own version of this recipe. And there's 1,000 of ways of doing it. I'm gonna share with you what my family did, and it's what I love. I hope you love it as much as I do, and let's get over starting to cook. Let's spice it up. You're gonna need ground beef and ground pork meat, which the amount will be written down below, and you can just skip the pork if you don't like or you don't eat pork. Skip the beef if you prefer it to be a bit more flavorful. You can also exchange the pork with Italian sausage. You can also add bacon if you like, but the Italian version, pancetta, would be better. But what I've always done, what I'm known to use, it's half and half, so we're sticking with this today. You're gonna need a couple of carrots, a bit of celery. You're gonna need tomato sauce. I'm using Italian one that hasn't got anything added to it except for tomatoes, no salt, no oil, nothing. You're gonna need a glass of wine. I'm using red wine, but if you don't like wine, you don't drink wine, just skip it. It's not a crucial element. Of course it adds to the flavor, but you can just exchange it with a glass of stock, which can be chicken stock, it can be vegetable stock, meat stock, whatever you like, or actually you could also just add a cup of water and it will still be amazing. You'll need a bit of olive oil as usual, salt, pepper, and a bit of chili. That's it. You're gonna ask me, where is the onions? Well, the first thing you should learn about me, I'm allergic to onions. I'm not a fan. I don't like the smell, and I don't like the fact they make you cry. I just don't digest them very well, so I skip onions all the time. And trust me, there is a way to cook without onions. There is, for sure. Just add spices, add herbs. We have so many things that nature gives us that we definitely can skip onions. I know I'm gonna be killed here, especially by the Italian people out there, but it's just me. I'm allergic to onions. I tend to avoid them, and I won't like them, so I don't eat them. But if you wanted to do the original way, just add the onions. I'm not judging you. So I'm gonna finely chop the vegetables, and I'm gonna show you the final results once I'm there. So what we should do is get the heat on, then we're gonna add a tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil. We don't need a whole lot amount of oil because the meat will release its own fat and it will make it delicious. So we're gonna wait for the oil to become hot. We can just check it by adding a few vegetables. If it starts to bubble, we know that the oil is round about ready. We're gonna take our carrots and celery, which we have chopped, and just add it to the pan in this way. This in Italy it's called soffritto. It's basically the base of most recipes. It's the starting point for most of the sauces we do, our tomato sauce, just the ragù, any kind of ragù actually, and the base of risotto most of the times. Sometimes you add carrots, sometimes you take them out, sometimes you do celery, sometimes you take them out. Anyways, remember this, because this soffritto will be the base of 100% of your recipes if it's gonna be sauce and Italian. This is the perfect place where you should add your onion if you love onions. I'm not digging that, so you're gonna just heat this up so that the oil can absorb the juices of the vegetables and just stir it up. But when it reaches the right consistency, I'll show you. It only takes a couple of minutes, and the smells it gives out, it just brings you to Italy. So my vegetables are starting to develop some color. The smell is coming quite intense, and the water inside of the carrots is starting to dry up, and at this point you know that soffritto is ready. So we're ready to add our meat. I'm just with my hands trying to divide it, like so. This has no particular order or way of doing it. It's just everything in the pot. In this way. But I'm cooking a lot of ragù. The thing I like to do with ragù is that since it takes forever to cook, I'd much rather do a huge portion and just freeze it up. I'm going to take my spoon and just break the meat through. My meat has released all its juices and it's nearly fully cooked. It's nice and divided, that way we can have an even sauce, and this is the moment where we add our red wine. As I told you before, if you do not like red wine, just skip it out. Guys, the cool thing about doing ragù is that it has so many uses. We in Italy, we use it as a sauce for pasta. I highly recommend that you buy tagliatelle with this. You can actually use it to, this is the filling for lasagna. It's the meat sauce that goes inside lasagna with bechamel and noodles. Or you can actually use it to stuff vegetables, or just eat it as it is. When I was a kid, I remember entering the kitchen where my nonna was making this and just stealing it. This looks perfect, the wine is completely absorbed, and we just take our tomato sauce and just add it like this. The trick when you're using tomato cans is that you can use them as handy dandy containers of water, and in this way you just use the can to clean out the remaining tomato. Just add a touch of water, give it a swivel, and add it to the sauce. Perfect, right? Give it a stir, and now we are ready to add a good pinch of salt. Remember, start with a little amount and then just add your way up if it's not enough. You can always add, but you can never take out salt. I'm adding a nice grate of pepper, and I just like to add a bit of chili to spice it up a bit. Give it a good stir, and this has to simmer for as long as it can. Usually I tend to do it for 2 or more hours. The thing with ragù is that the more you let it cook, the more the ingredients will merge and just stick together, bind together, and be amazing. This is what I suggest you to do. Take a day in which you're just staying home, having nothing to do, put it on low heat and just let it do its magic. It's not hard work. Yes, it's time consuming, but it's not hard work. You don't actually have to do anything for it. It will just do its magic by itself, so boom! So guys, after 3 hours of gently simmering its way through the magic of the cooking, this is the final result. As you can see, the water has evaporated to leave a thick, fantastic sauce, which is full of vegetables, meat, and flavor. Now you have it. This is your special, fantastic ragù alla Bolognese. Now I'm just gonna cook myself some pasta and freeze the rest in my freezer, and I'm gonna have perfect ragù every time I want. It's simply fantastic.